Hey everyone, and welcome to Bite Size Tactics. In this video, we're going to have a look at the Rhino. Looking at the Rhino's profile, it has a movement of 12 inches, toughness 9, a 3 plus armor save, 10 wounds, leadership 6 plus, and an OC of 2, and currently costs 75 points. The Rhino has quite a few keywords, starting with the vehicle keyword, which will be important for abilities and stratagems, and the smoke keyword is also important to use the smoke stratagem in the game. It also has the transport keyword, which will be important for abilities and stratagems as well throughout the game. And finally, it has the dedicated transport keyword, which means there must be a unit in this model at the start of the game. Otherwise, it blows up. Its abilities is that it has Deadly Demise D3 and Firing Deck 2. And it also has its own inbuilt ability called Self-Repair, which at the end of the command phase, or your command phase, this model regains 1 wound. The Rhino doesn't have a lot of weapons. It's equipped with Storm Bolters, which has the Rapid Fire 2 ability, and it's okay at killing infantry units. It also has the Hunter Killer Missile, which is a one-shot only for the entire game at Strength 14, minus 3 AP and D6 damage, but this is mainly just a bit of bonus damage to a high toughness target if it hits and wounds. It also has its armored tracks for combat. However, it's quite low at strength 6, no AP damage 1, so it's not likely to do anything. So its weaknesses are that it can be move blocked, and it has no damage output at all really, and it has a lot of restrictions in its transport capabilities, so only a small amount of units are actually allowed to use this transport. So it's not really the best right now for generic Space Marine players, and even most Space Marine players in general, as Firstborn datasheets and models have been getting moved out of the range. It's not overly tough as well, and it doesn't have a lot of wounds, so it can be destroyed quite easily with some concentrated fire, especially from high AP, high damage weapons. Now, looking at the strengths of the Rhino, it can move a large unit or two, multiple units, because it does have quite a large transport capacity still. It's great at protecting units to get them up the board, and it is able to repair 1 wound a turn, which is quite good for it. And transports are also quite good in some detachments with the stratagems that work well with them, such as the Fire Assault Force detachment. It's also great for move blocking and holding up other vehicles and monsters because it is quite cheap. You can kind of get your unit out, then throw them where it needs to be to possibly hold up your opponent for a turn. And it's actually much better in Divergent chapters than just normal Space Marine chapters. And it gives it a few more options in the units that can be inside the Rhino. Now, looking at the transport capacity and what can be inside of it, the Rhino can have up to 12 models in the transport at one time, but no Jump Pack, Wolfen, Phobos, Gravis, Centurion, Terminator, or Tacticus keyword models can be inside the Rhino, which means that not too many units outside of that are actually available to be inside of it, or embark it, I should say. When you look at the Space Marine generic datasheets that anyone can use, Tactical Squads, Scout Squads, and Devastator Squads are really the only ones that can use the Rhino, as they have none of those keywords. However, in the Divergent chapters, you've got the Crusader Squad, Death Company Marines, and then Space Wolves is really where this transport is still usable. There's Blood Claws, Grey Hunters, Wolf Guard, Wolf Scouts, Long Fangs. You just have more options in the Space Wolves Codex currently, or Index, I should say. So the mission play for the Rhino is a little bit hard, and it's very niche, and its use over the last few years has become worse and worse, with Firstborn Space Marine units being phased out of the range, while more Primaris units have been increased. However, they can still be quite good if you do need a cheap transport for the Space Wolves, and possibly even the Blood Angels army if you are running those Death Company Marines. But this model has become a little bit less relevant over time, so just keep that in mind when you are purchasing this model. So my verdict for the Rhino is that it's probably not as useful as our Primaris transports for generic Space Marine players. However, you can still get some decent use out of them through the Divergent chapters, like we've touched on, the Space Wolves being the first. Also, just a quick note, GW have gotten rid of a lot of datasheets for Firstborn. I have brought it up a few times, so I just want to reiterate. So maybe the Rhino could disappear soon or possibly be changed to allow Primaris Marines in it, but that's just a speculation because there's so many good transports now for Primaris units. So that's just one thing to be wary of. Thank you for watching the video. If you liked it, click the like button. Comment what you think the Rhino will become in the future, whether it will become more staple and Primaris units will be able to use it, or if it will just be phased out like all the other Firstborn datasheets. And if you enjoyed the content, subscribe for more.